Assalamu alaikum, dear student. How are you? I hope you are well. I am also well. In this COVID-19 pandemic period, our education system almost break down, so the government take necessary steps to connect the students with the studies. According to the instruction of our government, we are taking online class. As a part of online class, today I will take the second class of Take Question. Dear students, you know, in our last class we have learned the subject of tag question. The subject of tag questions are I, we, you, he, she, it, they, and their. These pronouns are used as a subject of tag question. And the auxiliary verb. Auxiliary verb am, is, are, was, were. Am is are, present form of be verb. Was, were is the past form of be verb. Have, has, had. Have, has is the present form of have verb. Has is the past form of have verb. Do, does, did. Do and does is the present form of do verb, and did is the past form. Shall, will, can, may, should, would, could, might, ought to, used to, need, dare, must. These are the model auxiliary verb. And the negative word no, no one, none, nobody, never, nothing, little, few, hardly, scarcely, rarely, seldom, etc. are the mostly used negative words in Take Question. In our previous class, we have talked that if we able to understand or memorize these three things only. First, subject of the tag questions. Second, auxiliary verbs. And third, the negative words of the sentences. If you are able to find out this, you will be able to answer the tag question very easily. Today, we are going to practice some sentences which are very important for our examination. Look at the board. Here, some important sentences. Here I have written first sentence. Patriotism is a great virtue. Patriotism is a great virtue. We have to find out only three things from this sentence. First, subject of the sentence. Here, subject is patriotism, auxiliary verb is, and there is no negative word. Here, subject, here I have written only 9 pronouns for subjective form. Here, patriotism is not a man, so instead of patriotism, we will use here subject is. Sentence, every religious teaches us English. Here, subject, every religious. Instead of every religious, we will use the. Teaches is the present form of verbs. Here is no auxiliary verb, so we will use here do verb. The present form of do verb, do or does. Here, there is no negative word, so the take question would be in negative short form. Does and do. Which verb we will take from here? Subject plural, so we'll take plural form do. Do, the short form, negative short form don't. There. Ending of the sentence, we have to put question mark. Sentence, third sentence, telling lies is a great sin. Telling, the subject. Instead of telling, we will use subject it. Here auxiliary verb is. So, and the sentence is in negative affirmative form. So our take question would be in negative form. Is, short negative form, isn't. Subject it. So isn't it. The take question would be isn't it. Third sentence, one lie begets 100 lies. One lie begets 100 lies. Here one lie, it is not man, so we will use here subject it. Instead of one lie, we will use pronoun it. And begets is verb. It is the present form of verb. So we will use do verb. Do or does. Here subject it. So we will use here does. Negative short form doesn't. Subject it. And ending of the sentence question mark. This is take question. Fifth sentence, a liar has to lead a miserable life. Here subject, a liar. It is a person. So we may use here he or she. He or she. He or she. There is has to, it is not auxiliary verb, but it acts as a modals. So we have to take auxiliary verb do or does. Do or does. It indicates the present form. So we will use here do or does. Here the subject he or she. So we have to take does. Does, affirmative form, negative short form doesn't, and subject he or she. Both are correct. Look at the next sentence. So all of us ought to refrain from telling lies. All of us, here the subject as the subjective form we. Auxiliary verb ought. This is an affirmative sentence because there is no negative word in this subject, in this sentence. So we will use here oughtn't. Oughtn't, subject we. Oughtn't to you. Because man hardly believes the liar. Because man hardly believes. Man is a person. So instead of man, we will use pronoun he as a subject. Believes is the present form. There is no auxiliary verb. So we will use do verb. Do, present form do or does. Do or does. Which form we will take? Here we will take does because subject he, third person singular number. Another important thing is here hardly. This is a negative word. So the sentence is negative in negative form. So we will use here affirmative form of auxiliary verb. So affirmative form of auxiliary verb do, does, and subject he. Does he. Another sentence, let us be honest from our boyhood. Let us be honest from our boyhood. It is imperative sentence. When you will find let us or let's, your take question would be shall we. No need to think about others. Only shall we. From this discussion, we have found that if we want to make the question, we have to write the sentence first, then you must use commas ending of the sentence, then you will have to use auxiliary verb plus subject, or in negative affirmative sentence, or in affirmative sentence negative form, negative short form, negative short form of auxiliary verb plus subject, and question marks ending of the sentence. If you understand only these three things, I hope you all will be able to answer the take question in your question paper. And it is the very easy and important item for our SSC examination. So we will practice at home. Here again I am giving you another, I am again discussing which we will remember. For tag question, you will remember the subject of tag question, only 9 here. If the subject became noun, you will use, instead of noun, you will use pronoun. These are the subject of tag question. These 24 are the auxiliary verbs in English. If you able to learn these auxiliary verbs, you will be able to answer tag question very easily. Not only tag question, any kind of question you will be able to make. And negative word: no, no one, none, nobody, never, nothing, little, few, hardly, scarcely, rarely, seldom, etc. are the mostly used negative word in the sentences. I hope you have understand my lesson and you will practice at home. Thank you very much. Be safe. Stay home. Stay safe.